It's a phone that likely needs no introduction, the Samsung Galaxy S4. Hard to believe that a series of smartphones that started out in 2010 is not only going strong, but is now one of the most recognized phone brands in the world. The Galaxy S4 is the latest and greatest Samsung device. It has not only the best components in a phone that you can get on the market today, it also has a bunch of extra bells and whistles in the form of software features. Now, it may not be evident the first time you look at it, but there are actually a few differences in design from last year's flagship, the Galaxy S3. That was a phone with a pebble-like, inspired by nature look. The Galaxy S4 has broader corners, doesn't offer the same sleek curves as its predecessor, and it also takes advantage of straighter edges, which make the phone easier to hold firmly in your hand. It also has an odd checkerboard-like pattern on the front and the back, which is pretty subtle on the white version. Heck, it even adds a little personality. But it's a lot more distracting on the black model, and isn't quite as stunning as the brushed metal on the blue GS3. Now, just like last year's Galaxy S flagship, the GS4 was built using polycarbonate, which is one of the better types of plastic your phone can have. It feels quite sturdy and doesn't exude cheapness, but it also doesn't have that premium look or feel seen on the HTC One, which is currently the GS4's main competition, and it has many of the same features for a similar price. Let's get specific about the phone's specs. The Galaxy S4 offers either a 1.9 GHz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 or a 1.6 GHz Exynos octa-core chip, depending on which model you get. It also has 2 gigs of RAM, a 1080p Super AMOLED display, 13 megapixel rear camera, and plenty more. The Galaxy S lineup traditionally receives a new grocery list of razzle-dazzle features that are great for parties, and the GS4 is no exception. First, the Galaxy S4 runs Android 4.2 Jelly Bean, which is the latest version of the OS. Chances are you won't see much of it, since the Galaxy S4 takes advantage of TouchWiz, Samsung's proprietary skin. To be honest, we're not the biggest fans of the user interface, but most Samsung customers seem to appreciate the consistency as they hop from one device to the next. There's very little learning curve for TouchWiz fans, which is a nice comfort to have. The touchscreen on the GS4 can sense your finger hovering above it, much like the Wacom digitizer could with the S Pen on the Galaxy Note 2. This means you'll have access to many cool AirView features without even needing the S Pen at all. You can hold your finger over calendar appointments, emails, Flipboard, photo galleries, and even your browser text, all of which will prompt a pop-up preview screen related to what you're hovering over. There's also Air Gesture, which uses the sensors on the front of the phone. As an example, in the browser you can wave your hand up or down, which acts the same as a computer's page up or page down function. You can also wave your hand side to side to switch between browser tabs. Lastly, you can also hold down an icon or calendar event and wave your hand back and forth to move that item to a different place. Well, they're fun for a little while, but this didn't add any amount of convenience to our lives in the long run. The GS4 also offers Smart Scroll, commonly known as that nifty eye tracking thing. Basically, you can tilt your head up or down to get the page to scroll in that direction. The catch is, the front-facing camera needs to see your eyes, which makes for a difficult situation when you're in a poorly lit room, or you're just facing away from the light. It worked inconsistent at best, and we frankly felt a little silly for bobbing our heads up and down. There's also Smart Pause, which pauses the video you're watching anytime your eyes drift away from the screen. This seems ridiculous, since we usually like watching movies in the dark, and oftentimes we'll want to look at things other than the screen, without making the movie stop every time we want to do so. The 13 megapixel camera is great for daylight imagery, as it catches a lot of great detail, and does a pretty good job in many other areas of photographic prowess. However, low light is an improvement over the GS3 and the Note 2, but it's still not up to par with the HTC One. In fact, night mode on the GS4 still can't grab as much light as the One's standard mode. The camera has a whole bunch of clever bells and whistles too, and we go into a lot of detail in our in-depth review. Suffice to say, a few of them are fun to use on occasion, but aside from staples like HDR and night mode, we have a hard time seeing ourselves or anyone else use them on a regular basis. Samsung employees must love going to parties anytime their latest phone comes out. Lastly, the phone's performance is average, but nothing about it screams best of the best. It gets the job done quite well, though on occasion it will stutter or feel sluggish. The GPU does great at what it's supposed to do, as the gaming experience matched up with what we've seen from the other smartphone industry leaders. Battery life is better than we expected. It's certainly above average, but you're going to be in the red almost every time you're ready to hit the hay, if not sooner if you're a power user. All told, the Galaxy S4 is a good smartphone and is right on par with the HTC One in terms of quality, features, and performance. But it's also quite predictable. The design feels a little bored at this point. Most of the new features are innovative, but impractical, and it has all the specs we've come to expect from a flagship phone in early 2013. So it doesn't necessarily stand out from the crowd, but if you're a Samsung fan, you're definitely not going to be disappointed because it's a genuine improvement over the Galaxy S3. This is Brad Mullen for Engadget, and for more information, read our review of the Galaxy S4 at Engadget.com.